Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another computer science class. Today we're going to be going over how to add enemies onto our game so that it's not just you kind of jumping around collecting stuff, you actually have some opposition to make it a little bit more interesting. In a hope to not go on for quite an hour like I did last time, I'm going to limit it down to just kind of basic concepts, and I have done some of this in advance already. And I'll show you why it's not a lot. It's everything that you guys have already done before. I've just added more walls and platforms, basically. Anyways, without much further ado, let us go into the game. All right, so as you can see here, we have our same basic game that we had before in ReadyMaker, right? So we have Bob, we have some platforms. I added one more platform up here, and I simply copied these guys and made a border around our playfield. And what this does for us is, before we were having a problem where I would play and then Bob would fall over and it forever kind of leave, right? And that was not so good. So what we want to do, ooh, that's cool. Making a whole lot of points. Yeah. So anyways, what we want to do now is have it so that he has a limited playfield and he can't really go outside of it. And he's kind of stuck inside his little world here. Cool. All right, so we have that. Next, let's go back to what we had for our script. So we have two gems that, if we go over them, add to our point counter. If that point counter goes up past, it gets to 2 or more, then we have the ability to travel into Black Star. All right, so now what we want to do is add some enemies. So let's go to our notepad here and write some checklists down. What do we want our enemies to do? For my game, I kind of want to keep going with the Mario feel just a little bit. I want to have these little Mario guys that will move across the screen. Maybe we'll have them so that they stay on each platform, kind of bouncing back and forth. That seems like something that's totally doable. So we have make an enemy. So we have to choose the enemy that we want. Have the enemy move on its own. So now we're dealing with motion that has the enemy going without us having to give him any input. He's simply moving on his own, probably constantly. Enemy can move back and forth. I'm going to give you guys a phrase I don't think I've given you before. These are all KPIs. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. I don't know how to spell very well, so I'm going to assume that's how you spell indicator. Oh, by the way, as well, if you guys are on the chat and you're here with me live, do please write anything in the comments. Say hi. I will say hi. Save the endangered is on. Hello, how are you doing? And thank you. If you have any questions as I'm giving this lesson out, please ask any questions on the chat. I'll see it there and I'll answer it for you as quickly as I can. If this live cast is over, go ahead and put them in the comments and I will help you out in the comments also. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, so the enemy can move back and forth, and we probably want touching the enemy or the enemy touching us to have some form of negative consequence. So let's say that Bob goes away when he hits enemy. And it would be kind of unfortunate to have to restart the game manually over and over again. So we'll say the game restarts when Bob hits enemy. Cool. All right, that seems like a decent checklist to get us started. All right, let's go. Oh, here, hold on a second. My audio might be cutting off a little bit. So you guys should still be able to hear me now. I might have been talking a little bit loud, sorry. All right, so let's start with this. Let's make an enemy. Oh, by the way, if this is all new to you and you haven't seen any of this before, I'll have my friend in the chat is going to send a link to both getready.io, which is the website where you can download ReadyMaker, as well as she'll put in a link to the previous tutorials. So this is class number 3. So if you have not seen the previous classes, feel free to stay along with this and you can see what's going on, but then go back to the previous lessons as well. So, all right. So Katerina, if you could do me a favor, and if you could please send a link to the website into the comments for both Get Ready and my first tutorial. Thank you. All right, so let's get back into this. So I'm going to go in here and find an enemy. So I already downloaded them, but I'm going to show you how to get there anyways. I would go into Diffs, and I get a whole list of really cool people here, right? So none of these are the ones that I actually, well, I kind of want him, but I'm not going to use him. I'm going to use what's called a Goomba. A Goomba is this little guy. He was in the original Mario. So in order to get him, is click on him, upload and save. I'll give him an asset name, Goomba in this case, and then I'll hit finish and save. Cool. And sorry, I'm just trying to answer some of your questions as well. There we go. So it's uploading, and there we have Goomba and Goomba. So I'm gonna take Goomba. I'm gonna chuck him on there. Sweet. He looks a little big, so I'm gonna resize him a little bit. So I can just go and shrink down. There we go. We have one enemy named Goomba. Cool. So check mark. We made an enemy. Make the enemy move on its own. Okay. So in ReadyMaker, we have the ability to give our little characters here a behavior. So I'll click on Goomba in this case and go over to behavior. And all I have to do is click add behavior and we get a whole list. So we're looking for a movement behavior, and I already researched this so I already know, but the movement that we're looking for is called bullet. So drag that in there. So what this is saying over here in our settings is that the bullet movement is active. It will bullet him to the side, that direction right there, at 6 meters a second. It won't accelerate from there. It'll just be a constant rate of motion. It doesn't bounce, I don't know what those things are. And the animation of this guy is also on and looping. So let's see what that happens. Let's go here and play. Whoop. Sweet. He, in fact, launches all the way that way and is now pretty stuck there. Cool. Good start. So we now know that he can move that way. Seemed like he was moving a little fast, but that's okay. So let's try slowing him down a little bit. Seemed like he'd actually be walking. I can maybe run or walk about a half a meter a second, we'll say. Sure. Let's see if that's any better. Yeah, that's kind of cool. He's moonwalking. Sweet. All right. Oh. He's not falling anywhere, but let's see. So we have to turn his physics on, make sure that he has gravity, right? Cool. So now let's see. That was unexpected. So now let's see if he, oops, can't get over to him yet. Have to adjust our game. So he also rotates a little bit, so we can go back into appearance, and we can say that sorry, not appearance, go back in physics, and we can say that we can lock his rotation so that he can't rotate at all. And see, now he stays on, moonwalks, and doesn't trip over. Cool. Our enemy walks and kind of behaves like we would hope he does. However, he doesn't stop at the end of there and go back to the other side. We definitely want him to do that. So for this, we have to write a little bit of a script. Cool. So I'm going to go into my script manager. We have all the script from the previous games. Little script. I'm going to show you a little trick. And you can do this in almost any coding editor. This or Visual Studio, any of the real coding editors you use, including this one, will have the ability usually to collapse your script down. So all I have to do is click this little button right here. And now you see why I named everything before, right? So I do this. It closes up all the script so that it's much easier to find what I'm looking for. And I can just open whatever I want to work on and then close it again, and my screen isn't completely full of code. So we're going to add a new event. We want the Goomba to be able to move back and forth. If I look at the Goomba for a second, let's see how long it takes him to move from where he is to where I want him to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, about 5 seconds, maybe 6. So let's go back and add to his script and say when. Now we're counting time as it goes by in the game, right? So this is our system, our game system's time. So system, runtime, repeat every 5 seconds. So what this is saying is when the system notices that the game has been running for 5 seconds, then do something. And it will repeat that action every single 5 seconds. So our Goomba has our bullet movement, right? And we can mirror its velocity, which means if it was going in this direction, if we tell it to mirror it, it'll go in the opposite direction, the exact opposite direction. So, mirror velocity. Every 5 seconds, let's see what that does. All I can think of is a Michael Jackson song is he's doing this. Perfect, works. Look at that. See? Now he bounces back and forth on our platform, just ready to harass poor Bob here. All right, that's a good start. So, now let's go back here. Enemy moves on its own. Got that. Enemy can move back and forth. Got that. Look at this. We're doing this super fast today. If you have any questions, again, please do ask in the comments. If I'm going too fast, let me know also. I can slow down and go into a little bit more detail if you want. All right. Bob goes away when he hits the enemy. Right. Okie dokie. So, Bob has the ability... Bob, right here, wants to make it so that when he senses that he is touching the enemy, right, then Bob will disappear. Just like if he had hit the black star. So, this is event make Goomba move back and forth. Cool. Now I know what that is. I'll add a new event. This event, check enemy hit detection. So now I'm going to detect whether or not I have hit an enemy. Simple enough, right? All right. So when Bob senses that he is touching Goom, my friend Goom here, then Bob appearance will be set to hidden, the Boolean true. Yes. Okay, so let's see if that works. Uh-oh. We've run into a problem. I've adjusted my my level here, but it seems that Bob is helpless to jump as high as he needs to jump. That is unfortunate. So now we have two options that we have more than two, but we have two basic options that we can do to remedy this problem. One, we can take the platforms and make them closer together, into which Bob will have an easier time jumping. Or we can adjust how high Bob jumps so that it is easier for him to bounce on top of the thing. I'm going to go with the second. I would like to give Bob some superhero powers. So I'll go into Bob and again into his into his behaviors. He already has the jump behavior and his height is set to 50%. Let's bring that up to 70. Let's see if that's enough. Kinda. Oh, we have detected another problem. Bob is upside down. I don't think Bob likes being upside down, although interestingly enough, I can still play it. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. So, we found the problem. Can you guess what this problem is? I'll give you 3 seconds to think about it. You have guessed right, I'm going to assume. The Bob has the ability at the moment to rotate. Because he has the ability to rotate, he is able to just kind of land flat like that, and look at him, it looks pretty sad, right? So we gotta fix that. So how we change that is we'll go into Bob, we'll go into physics, and we'll say lock rotation. So therefore, Bob shall not rotate. Also, coincidentally, at the moment, my space button is my jump button, and that's kind of annoying for me, so I'm going to go into his behavior. And right here, I can say the default control for jump is space. I'm going to change that to W. That way I have ASDW scheme for keys. All right, let's try that again. Yay! Boop. Hooray! All right, so Bob can become destroyed by that angry looking mushroom thing on the screen. Awesome. All right, let's go back to our checklist. Bob goes away when he hits an enemy. X. All right, so this is pretty simple so far, right? Not too bad. Game restarts when Bob hits an enemy. Oh, I haven't gotten that one yet. So let's go in here off our checklist. The next one up is we're going to try and restart the game. So if I go inside here and I look at the enemy hit detection, which tells us when Bob is sensing this touching goom, at the moment he does get hidden. However, we also want the scene to restart. So we can add another condition that happens. So when this condition happens, this action happens. Sorry, add another action. So we want to reset the game. Remember, game is a system event. So we'll probably look in the system for it. And I don't know which one of these it is. Global? Nope, we don't care about the background color. Let's get out of there. System? Yes. Ah, restart scene. Look at that. So it's pretty easy to find these things if you're okay just clicking buttons around. Worst case scenario, you click on the wrong button. That's fine. Just go back and try another avenue. See if you can find it. Don't be afraid to mess around in here. The saying that I said last week, coding is like 10% actually writing code and about 80% debugging your code, and then another 10% drinking tea. All right, so let's see if this works now. Start. We have Bob. Bob can move. Hey, look at that. Destroyed it. Our scene restarts. Cool. All right, and I can still win, I assume. Boop. Oop, I must have gotten rid of that capability. Kind of messed around a little bit with my game here before. All right, so we have an effective functioning game here. We've made all of our KPIs, and we've done it in 27 minutes. Wow, I talk fast. All right. going to give you one more thing that we can do to make this just a little bit more interesting. Have more than one enemy. All right. So, it's really fun to have just one enemy and have everything kind of going around, right? And it really is an interesting game just with that one enemy. However, if we have more than one, if less is more, just think about how much more would be, right? So I'm a fan of being able to make it so that we can really bring this game to a fairly difficult setting, and then make it more difficult over time. So let's add another enemy. And in order to do this, I'm going to teach you about a new concept within ReadyMaker called a class system. Basically, you get to say that an object is of a certain type. So, an example of this is a greyhound is of type dog, right? A greyhound is a dog. A chihuahua is of type dog. So if I went over and said, hey, all of the dogs move to the left, it wouldn't matter if it's a chihuahua, if it's a cocker spaniel, or a bulldog, all of the dogs would come over. At the moment, in our code, we've had to reference everything individually, right? Even the power crystals. Crystal 1 and Crystal 2, we had to write 2 separate pieces of code to handle each one of those. Now we're going to make it so that we can group all like items together and classify them in a class, and then run any like operations on that whole class instead of having to do it individually. So what that looks like all right, so let's first start off with something that we already have on here. We have these 2 little gems here, right? Power 1 and Power 2. What I'm going to do is if I click on them, and you notice all the way down here, there is a little button that says class. When I do that, I have the ability to create a new class. So these classes are power, because they're giving power to my spaceship. Save class. Now, see how there's that little blue selected there? So I clicked on power, and it knows that it's of type power. If I go over here, hit on class, I select power, and then it goes to type power. So now both of these guys are classified as power type objects. So if I go into my code, and I look for the code that says hit power, now I can change this to say if Bob is sensing he's touching anything from the power class, then the variable score will increase. It'll set the new score. And now we also have to remove that one instance of the power, right? So I'll add another thing that we have to do down here. So we have the entire power class, which is all the objects of type power. A selected instance of power, which would be the one that he is touching, and then all affected objects from the class power. That's a little bit more complicated. Let's try this guy. So the selected instance of power, which means the one that Bob has just hit. So that one, its appearance will be set hidden is equal to true. So let's go over this just one more time. Bob is sensing this touching any of the power objects, so any of those crystals. If he is sensing that, then the score will go up. We'll display that new score, and the selected instance of the power, so the power crystal that he did hit, will have its appearance set to hidden. What's cool about this is I can then go down to hit power 2 and just delete that guy because it is now redundant. So with that one script, we should now be managing both of these. Let's see if it works. Oop, doesn't work. That's weird. Oh, it worked on that one. I must not have selected that guy. Let's go back and check. Like I said, 80% debugging. All right, let's select this guy. Go down to class. And see, it's selected to none. So if we just select power there, that should fix that. Go back and play. Doop. There he goes. Doop. And we can see everything resets as soon as we hit Goomba. Boop. All right, cool. So now we're going to do the exact same thing with Goomba. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to copy him. Gonna move that copy down here. And I'm gonna copy him again. I'm gonna move that copy over here. Cool. Now we have, let's see what happens. Actually, I'm curious what will happen. Oh. They're all moving in unison, and they're all bouncing back and forth. That's pretty cool. See if I hit him. Yep, the game restarts. Makes this just so much more difficult. Doot. Okay. Doot. Doot. All right. And then I win. See? Look at that. So now we have a game with multiple enemies. They're all moving on their own. We have made it so that we can control multiple objects with a single line of code now by using the class system. And our game all worked the same as before. So from here, your job now is to make this game, as always, your own. So if you have a game that you were working on before, start incorporating some enemy schemes. You can make them whatever you want. You can make them move left and back and forth, up and down. You can even have it so that they go throughout the entire map and only bounce when they meet the edges of the walls. There's a bunch of different ways you can play around with this. So I look forward to seeing what you guys are making. Again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, which will probably be almost immediately. And if this video was helpful for you, please share it with your friends so that they can start making their own fun games. It's a lot more fun than sitting at home playing your own playing games. So might as well make your own. And that's about it. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next class. Thank you so much. And please, if you do make a game, remember, I go over here. I'll move my face here for a second. Oops. Hit save button. Always save. You'd be surprised how often you'll be sad that things don't save. And then the share button will make it so that your URL for your game, the web address for your game, is saved to your clipboard. If I go into any web browser and share this with any of my friends, then I can make it so that all my friends can play my game too. Hit the start button, then it'll load. So please do put the links to all of your games inside the inside comments. I would love to play your games. I think it'd be really fun. And that's about it. Hope you guys had a good day. Hope you guys have fun playing. Thanks so much.